Okie dokie.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the first Tip Tuesday for 2022. Hopefully everyone had a lovely break. We also thank you so much to everyone's suggestions for some Tip Tuesdays. It's very much appreciated. And for today's one, we're going through lithops. We had someone asking about our water plan for lithops and also the potting mix too. So I've just got some material here of a potting mix material that we use to make our potting mix. We've also got some seedlings in there in a seedling lithops mix that we make, which I'm going to go through, and it's in this mix as well. So this is our seedling mix. The ones we're actually growing our lithops in is just a little bit less organic material, so like potting mix or compost. So with the watering, if it's just your seedlings, obviously you're going to want to do it a bit more regularly, so that you don't want them to dry out, especially their roots, otherwise they can die on you very quickly. With these guys, I'm probably doing them about twice a week, or sometimes three times a week here. So you see they're only small, they're only they're about 3.5 months old. These.
Pop your finger in there, Michael, so we can get a gauge. Where is it now?
Yeah, so it's about 3.5 months old. When they get around this time to about 4 months, they'll start splitting. So you've got one here that's just starting to split right on the top there. So hopefully we'll start seeing some really, depends on the variety. So these are just an assorted mix. So some, you can see the splitting a bit better when you really look at it. So with the water plan, so that's what I do with the lithops here. I just overhead water them, these guys, about 2 or 3 times a week with the seedlings. You want to make sure that they're not in a lot of direct sunlight, as they can burn quite quickly. So you want in a fairly sheltered position. And with our larger lithops here, so this is an Orcampia variety, and I'm only watering this about once a week. So they are pushing through some growth at the moment now, so you can actually water them a little bit more frequently when they're kind of in the sleep mode in the winter. Sometimes if it's really hot temperatures through summer, they won't do much at all, so you want to back off on that watering there. So, but now it's okay if you're getting some cooler days, that's fine there. So with our potting mix for lithops, so I use 3 material here. So I use crushed granite, I use zeolite, and I use just a potting mix. So if you are using a potting mix, you want to make sure it doesn't have fertilizer in it. Plain is better, just because these guys don't need a lot of fertilizer, or if any at all really. Just some sea salts, which is a seaweed solution, is enough to make these guys really happy here. So yeah, and with the if you're using compost or just a potting mix, I tend to try and screen them out into smaller size bits there. So I'm only using mouse or snake mesh, and I'll put all the material. So zeolite I don't have to, because it's already quite a small size, but with the granite it comes in bigger chunks, and I just screen that through and get the smaller pieces there, and that's keeps these lithops happy here.
So is it one part of each?
No, not yet. I'm just about to go through that now. So you want to, so if you're doing seed or seedlings, like sort of this size, you want to make sure that you up your organic content. So yeah, you want to up that up so that they can, especially when they're young, so they can still, it just holds a little bit more moisture for longer, and it's enough to keep these guys going, to keep their roots nice and moist. As you pot them up, so when they're, say, around 2 years old, and you start to prick them out and put them into their own little pots, or if you want to put them in an arrangement in one pot of them, then you want to back off your organic material. So we use, for these guys, for the seedlings, 4 parts. When they're a bit more mature, we use 2 parts there. So for example, for this here, which is this mix right here, that's our seedling mix. So we've got 3 parts zeolite, 3 parts crushed granite, and I use 4 parts of a potting mix here. When it's these guys, I will use 2 parts organic, and then 4 parts zeolite and 4 parts crushed granite. And
hang on a minute, what did you say? 442.
442, yeah.
So 1 2 2.
1 2 2. No.
Fraction? Do you not? So if it's two of
Yeah.
that one and 4 of that one and 4 of that one, so 1 to 2 to 2.
Yeah, that's fine. I just like to go 10 parts, that's all.
Oh, 10. Okay,
I
all
go
right.
off 10
Okay,
parts, but
all
that's
right.
just me. If you want to go 5,
I
sometimes
was
it'd be
just
a
going the
little bit
lowest
trickier.
denominator. Okay.
But
Yep.
10's just easier, I find.
Okay. Yep.
So yeah, so with your seedlings, it's 4 parts organic, and then you've got 3 parts granite and 3 parts zeolite. So you can, if you don't have, it just depends on what you've got around. So you can use pumice if you want. There's other, you can use like a really fine, like a pea gravel, as long as it's really tiny. You can also use, some people use perlite as well. That's fine as well. Or even scoria. If you can get it really tiny, scoria is fine. But these 2 material here are quite readily available for us, and they work fine. Lithops are really happy in them there. So yeah, so for them, it's the 4 parts of your organic, 3 parts crushed granite, and 3 parts zeolite. And for this one here, it's 2 parts organic, 4 parts crushed granite, and 4 parts zeolite there. So if I take them out, you can already see like it's really loose in there. So water, when we go through and water them, it just goes straight through them really quickly. And that's what you want. You don't want them to sit into, when they're more mature, you don't want those roots to sit in water for too long, because they can easily rot on you. Whereas when they're seedlings, that's fine. You can leave a little bit more moisture in there.
That was a lot of roots for that one little lithops. I was actually surprised for the size of that.
That's a very healthy root system right there. So that's really what you want. You want a good root system, and that'll keep these guys happy. So I'm still overhead watering these guys now. When they go when they finish flowering and then they start to hold seed pods, you want to try and avoid overhead watering them, because that'll actually activate the seed pods, make them open up, and get them to, or encourage them to release their seed, which you don't want to do that so too early on. You want them to completely dry out and pretty much die, those pods, before you actually harvest them. So what I would do then is bottom water. That way the roots are taking the water up from the bottom, and then those seed pods aren't getting wet at all. So it's fine, it keeps them nice and dry. So that's just a good helpful tip there if you've got lithops at that stage. And that's pretty much it really. It's very basic. We try and keep it really simple.
Sorry, I'm sure you probably said, but how often do you water them, did you say?
So these guys at the moment, so we're in summer, and when we're going through some cooler days, I water these guys once a week. Seedlings, this time of the year, I'm watering about 2 to 3 times a week, because they just dry out so quickly, and the root systems here are quite shallow. So yeah, you want to make sure that they're always sitting in moisture. When they're young, they can tend to withstand water a lot easier than, say, the more mature ones. They just get too fiddly and they start to burst on you and die. So hopefully you found that helpful. If you have any questions on that, please let us know. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification button as well, and then when we upload future videos, you'll get notified and you can watch them at your own leisure. So yeah, have a great week, and we'll catch you the next Tip Tuesday. See yous.
I just wanted to say, sorry, add on to the end. A good tip is, if they look a bit wrinkled, then give them a drink. If you're worried about overwatering them, because some people get really worried that they're going to overwater them, that they'll pop or rot. So just if you just wait till they get a bit wrinkly, then give them a drink.
Just let it kind of shrivel or wrinkle. That's a good sign that it's time to water. It's much easier to save a lithop that is really wrinkled or shrinking, rather than giving them too much water and then they just burst and just rot on you. Pretty much, if they're doing that, it's almost impossible to save. So yeah, see yous.